Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We're back at it. We sort of shaped the head, and there's a little more refinement that needs to be done on the head. So we'll do a little bit of that. And then what I really want to do is get on to starting to do the feathers. Okay, we're going to mark it out, and we'll spend time doing that. So I'm not going to get too far into here, but I just want to refine the beak a little bit more, and then we'll go on and start marking out the feathers, okay? And depending on how long it takes, I may do one side and then come back and do the other side on another video. So it gets really time consuming, and if you could picture how I do it on one side and you're looking at my patterns, you can do it on the opposite side, but I am going to probably produce a second video to do the other side. It just takes some time to map everything out, so I just want to let you know that, okay? So the other thing I'm going to ask you to do too, like I said, we're going to refine the beak a little bit more and a little bit at the top of the head here, because once we bring the beak in at the top, just like we did, we brought the bottom up a little bit on the last video, we're going to bring the top down because it gets a little more pointed. It's not as wide this way, and it's not as wide this way. So let me take you on that journey, and then we'll the profile slopes back a little bit faster too, and I'm going to show you that as well. So and the other thing too is, if you are following my videos, I would ask you if you would subscribe to my channel. Boy, that really helps a lot. And if you can ring the bell for me to say you approve, that really helps as well for the algorithms that go on as far as YouTube goes and stuff like that. And if anybody needs anything, and if you want to do this project with me, you can get kits that I sell, and if you want my catalog, you can write to me, and this way I'll get your email, and I'll email you my catalog. It's only about 5 or 6 sheets or something like that, but it'll give you a listing of things, and if you want to discuss what you need or don't need, I can advise you there too. So my email address is Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. And I will gladly get that out to you. And then if you want to discuss things with me, we can, or I'll advise you. And you could get the blank, the pattern, the feet, the eyes, all comes with a kit if you want it that way. I have several kits now, a lot that I put out there, not with the videos, but with the videos I do have out there, I do have kits on them. So I just want to let you know that. But if you want to try some on your own, the idea is the same with birds and the whole bit. So I'm going to jump right into this because it gets a little lengthy at times, and I don't want to go on forever. So I'm going to bring the camera over, and we will shoot down on this, and I'll show you the measurements that I have to be able to get the head right, and then we go on to doing some of the measurements for the feather groupings, okay? So give me a second. Okay, we're back again. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do, if you would. We got the beak, and I want to refine it again. So I'm going to ask you to come in, and we're going to come up off the corner of the the beak. That's right in here, coming straight up. If you notice, this is a pointy type bill there, and this right now is not that. So I'm going to measure up. It's looks like about maybe 1/8 of an inch up from here, and I put a dot. And I'll do the same thing on this side, from this corner up along this here. It's right about there. Let me just check it. About 1/8 of an inch up. Let's do it a little more higher than that. Yeah, so I'll put it right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this 1/8 down to the almost to the point, okay, like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. You have it from here, and you come like on the top of the beak. You're not coming right to the point. You're just leaving a little bit of play there. So all this up in here has to be taken down. So what I'm going to ask you to do, again, I'm going to go with the flame tip. If you have the bullet, the diamond bullet, that's fine. This is a ruby flame. I'm going to come in, and you can see where it has the white above this line on both sides. I'm going to try to take that off. So I'm going to use probably about the middle of the bit, and I'm going to start up here, just above where the beak came together, and slide this down so that I take everything straight across that line, the center line of the beak, off. So I see I still have more material over on one side than I do the other. And you got to do this very lightly, okay? So that the pencil line stays there, but you can take off something above there too as well, okay? Now I'm going to ask you to, if you look at this profile, this comes up and over real fast, and this thing sort of comes up and has a higher. I'm going to ask you to knock this down right in this area right here, using the middle of the flame or the bullet, okay? And that will knock that down. And you're trying to get this profile, okay? So it comes up right from that, and that'll pull it in. Now, let me go and get the pencil going. I'm going to put the center line back in again. So the center line was right here. This is just a continuation of it that I'm running down here. And we said the beak, if I have it here somewhere, and I don't, but I believe the beak is about 5/16 up from the tip. So I'm going to come in here. So from the tip of the beak up, I'm going to come up 5/16. So I'm going to measure 5/16 up, which is right there. Now I have to come back in. I'm going to come off of here. Remember, and we turn and come down where it drops in on the beak line. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to come in here. I hope everybody's seeing this. We come down and then drop right into that corner of the beak. Now, I want to make this symmetrical, so when you're looking at it, it should be taking the same shape on one side to the other, so make sure you have that. Now what happens is we have an edge here, because we made that, because we flattened this. I probably should have taken a little bit more off on this side, but what we're going to do is we're going to put this facet back in here. We have from the center line to here, we're going to come in and plane this back in, and this edge right here we're going to keep, but we're going to undercut it just slightly. So watch me here. I'm going to come in. I'm leaving the pencil there, but I want to slope everything from the burn back in. Okay. And we have a little bit of a lip right in this area, right there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to undercut right along there, slope this from the center. And if you have to, make sure you get that line in there, that center line, so that you got it, you got the right center, and you're not making a distorted bill there. Okay, so that got pulled in more now. Now you have more of a pointed beak there. Okay, and I'm going to come in and massage this so it flows down into there, just like this. Not doing too much to it. I'm pulling this back. And then this came up. I still want that lip. And here, I'm going to show you the lip that I left. I undercut it right along here. And I undercut it right along here, and there's a lip there, but it's ever so slight. But now, I just want to get this eye channel sort of rounding over here. Okay. So it seems like it slides right up to the beak, and at the same time, this forehead had to come down a little bit more. Okay, and we start to get this profile a little bit more. And I'm going to push this back into it too. Okay, I think we're in good shape there now. So we got the beak now where it should be. We will later work on the underneath side here, but for now, we'll leave that alone until we get into the breast area. And what we're going to end up doing is this tends to sweep in. If you notice, this bill comes all the way back, and where that C was, this material will come off like this, almost right off of that C. Here's your C here, and this is going to flow right back off of here and give you a look like this later. So we will take that in, and this will be projected a little bit more. But right now, I just wanted to get this whole thing for the beak to have a little more of a point, okay? And it'll get a little more pointier because we will get the bottom a little flatter. So this material where I put my finger up to is all going away, coming right up onto the beak. So where the C is where we're coming off, and then we're pulling in, okay? So that'll be on another video. Right now, here's what I'm going to try to do. One of the first things I want to try to establish on getting the feathers onto the bird is the mantle. And this is the mantle. It's here, coming around. It's this area right in here, okay? And we're going to get that whole swing in there. Now, we're going to measure from this edge up 1.5 inches, okay? So we're going to come in here and let's see if I do this right. Inch and a half. So from this top edge right here, not back here, 1.5 inches, we put a dot, okay? Now, from that dot, you have this center line, and make sure your body center line's really defined. Here's our 1.5 inches from here to here. That's the way the crow flies. We're not putting our bent ruler to go in and out of there. So it's the way the crow flies, I call it. Now, at this point, I'm laying my 2-inch mark, which happens to be running with the center line. And I'm going to draw a line out like so. That's perpendicular. And you can always check it with your ruler to put it in there to see if it makes a 90 degree in any one of the quadrants. Now, I'm going to ask you to go out from the center 1/2 inch, okay? So I'm going to put my 2-inch mark up there, go out 1/2 inch. I'm going to come out, excuse me, I'm going to come out at 1/2 inch on this side and put a mark, okay? So we have this. Let me make sure of that again. Oh boy. I am over my, I think I had the flu, some facsimile of a flu, and I think I'm over it now. I'm just choking on my dust, I guess, yeah. So I have 1.5 inches up to there. Is that right? No, I think I did that wrong. Hold on. Yeah, I did something wrong here. And I'm misleading you. Yeah. I do want the 1.5 inches. That's a fact. I just drew my perpendicular line in the wrong spot. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and let me check it because I have it on another figure here. It is, okay. Where the 1.5 inches comes, which is right here, I'm going to ask you to measure that up about 3/16. So from that dot, you go up 3/16 and put another dot. That's where the perpendicular line is. I'm going to draw that one in. So if you see two perpendicular lines, I'm going to take one out in a minute. Okay, so I got this line coming across. Now to expedite things, I know I'm a 1/2 inch out on this one. I'll just move it up to here. And this one, right to there. Now, not to confuse anybody, I'm taking this out. Okay. So you came up, excuse me. I hope I stayed in the camera range here. Again, I tend to drift when I'm getting into things here. It's 1.5 inches to here. Then it's 3/16 up to here. I drew a perpendicular line, and then came out from the center 1/2 inch. So you got a point here and a point here, and you got your 1.5 inches here. Now, I'm going to come over on the cheek here that we created, and I'm going to give you another mark that I want to do. So from the tip of the beak, I want to get you to get your ruler. I'm going to get my inch mark right at the tip of the point, and I want to come down 1 inch from the tip of the beak to where it touches the cheek. So from here to here is 1 inch. Okay. And if I put my 2-inch mark, which is a little more distinguished, you can see that from 2 to 3, it's right there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just get things going here. So I put that there. I go right there. Okay. Now, here's what I'm going to do. This arcs around. Now, when we go to do this, I want you to make this look symmetrical. So if things get a little way out, I want you to try to bring it back so that both sides look the same. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start from my 1.5 inches. I'm going to shoot over this way because I'm looking for some guidance on this arc for you. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to come off of this one. I'm going to swing around here to there. Then I'm going to come down. You can see it gets close to the cheek area here. And we have this mark down here. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to join it. Okay, like so. Like that. Now, I'm going to start this off on this side. It arcs over to here, and then from here, I'm going to arc this over to join that. And I want you to look at it to see if it looks symmetrical, or pretty much, okay? You know, don't go on some way where this mantle doesn't look similar on both sides. So make sure it looks good. And this is your point here, which is 1 inch from the beak where it touches the cheek. The same way here, from the tip of the beak on a straight line basis, that's 1 inch from here to there. Okay, and I hope you got that. Now we have the shape of this right here. Okay, all this is what we're shooting for. I know this looks like little feathered edges, which they will be, but right now we're trying to establish the layout for all these feathers, and we first start out with the mantle. Okay, now what I'm going to do is on the top view, which is what everything starts with, we have between the center line here where each feather starts, we have 1/8 of an inch out this way and 1/8 of an inch out that way. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come out 1/8, and put a dot. And then I'm going to go over to the other side and 1/8 and put a dot on the mantle line, okay? And let me check it. I think I didn't do that too well. Yeah, that one's right. This one could be out a little bit further. Right there, okay? So that is the spread between here and here and here and here. So this is the first grouping of feathers we're going to start putting in. Now, the thing is, these have an angle. And you're saying, okay, what's the angle or the direction? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. From here, you have these points out here on the drop wing here. And I'm going to ask you to come out. It's not this line, but it's inside that. I'm going to ask you to draw a real light line coming right on out to the point. And you could do it on the other side as well, just like this. It's just off of this cut line that brings the tail in. Okay? It's like that. All right? Now that's your action line. And this is where the first feather, which is this one right here, that we're going to draw in. It's about, let me give you a little measurement here just to give you an idea of size. It's about 1/4 of an inch long. So from here down, I'm going to come down along that line, and then I'm going to turn this up like this, and it's I don't want you measuring every one of these feathers. It's about 3/16. So from here to here, it's like 3/16. So you're making one feather right there, okay? And that's that one. Then you got a set of 3. There's 1, 2, 3. So here we go. I'm going to put the second one in. The second one is just inside that line. And again, it's about 3/16 long. I'm going to eyeball it more than anything else. And I'm going to come around, and then it's going to come up, and I'm going to stop it short, okay? I'm not taking it all the way here. And then I'm going to go another 3/16 off of this one. We'll say right about there. And I'm coming inside that one. So they're starting to encroach inside a little bit. They're not following this line, but they're going in that direction. So I come here. They're like piggybacking each other. And I come around. And then as you see this one, you can sort of see the gap between that. So I will try to keep them right about here. Okay, and they're all going to be about the same width. Okay. Now, we got that in. Now we're going to do another grouping. And the grouping is, and it's not this one here, it's this here, okay? This is going to come all the way down, and I have to establish another point. We have to get this drop wing in here, and this is going to come up and swing up to here. So let me do this. One of the first things, and you see it as a broken feather setup, but this is like one feather right here. And then here, not a feather. It is like a feather laying over. It's the breast feather like laying over. And then you have a second breast feather that piggybacks off of that one. And what we want to do is this came up and joins up here, okay? And back before that, and I would try to, let's see if I can establish this. You know what? Hang on a minute. I think I screwed you up again here. Let me go back on this. This here, when it came around, and it's coming around through the 1/2 inch mark, this has to go a little fuller. I'm sorry. Like this. And then it turns in. And I'm going to do that on the other side. This is like a direct shot, and I misled you here. I'm going to take that back. I'm still going to the same point. I'm just going a little wider. I'm going to come down here. Sorry about that. And I'm coming around, and I'm poking right into that. Okay? So you're a little fuller here where you were inside. I had you going too direct, okay? And this isn't that direct. This comes down and then pulls up. And that's what we're doing here. We came down and we pulled up. So I need to get you to get this wing in here. And you know what? I'm going to try drawing this in from here. Yeah, let me do that. It's been a while since I did this layout, so forgive me if I mislead you a little bit here. We have a grouping, which is, this is the main group right here coming down. We have 1, 2, and 3. And we'll get the rest of these in a minute. Now I'm going back along the mantle here with this grouping coming down, okay? And that is going to be this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to come in here and we're going to do feathers. Let's see if I can give you a size here. They're going to be a little smaller than this one. So we're going to come in here and watch the direction here, okay? See how these are going? We're going to come in here. They're not as big as this one. So we come in here and I'm going to put 1 in, okay? And you have to really pay attention to the direction of your feather. And they're not as big, not as wide, they're a little closer. So that's 1. Now I'm going to try to make things a little easier for you. Let me see on my sample piece that I did. I'm going to come out like here. I'm going to do this. From here on this feather and the mantle here, I'm going to come out 3/8 on the mantle. So about the middle of this mantle, I'm coming out about 3/8 and I'm going to put a dot. So here's your mantle, and I'm coming out 3/8 from about here. You know, if you're looking at somewhere about this spot right here, you're coming out 3/8. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come out with a light line going through that 3/8, and then I'm pulling this back in. Okay, like so. Now, I have 7 feathers I want to get in, so I'm going to come in here about the same distance, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to piggyback off of that one. That's 2. Then I'm going to come in here. See if I could do this right the first time. That's 3. I got 4, 5. And I'll give you a measurement. 6. And 7. Okay. Now, what we have is I still have to draw these guys in, and that is this one here. So the mantle and the feather comes right around here. So I'm going to come out here and draw. This is like a breast feather that's laying over. So here's where we tied into the cheek. It's about 1/8 of an inch back. I'm making a feather, pretty good size one. It's about 5/16 wide. Okay, and then I'm going to piggyback another one just below it a little bit here. Same size, just coming around like this. Okay, and they're pointing up when the C is like aiming at the beak. Same way with this one. So there's a direction to these. Okay, now I have to, I'm trying to see my sample here. If I do this right, we have a small grouping of 3, and they come in right in here. So where we drew some of those feathers coming down, we're going to start about, let's see, is it 3 feathers up? Yeah. About 3 feathers up. I'm going to put a small C right in here. Okay. And that is this one. Then I'm going to have another one piggyback off of that one. Okay. And then I'm going to go one more, which comes right into that breast feather. That right into here. And this one will just finish right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we have these 3 little ones, which are these right in here. Okay, so we got them going. Now, what I'm going to try to do, if I could do this correctly, from, we'll say, let's see, where are we here? We have to come off of these now. We did 1, 2, 3, and that's what we have here. And we can butt this one now. I'm sorry. Hope I didn't go out of camera range. I did. Here's what I was saying. Here's our first one. There's our second. And this will be our third. And that'll come right on up to this grouping here. Then we have these. Now, you have 1, 2, 3, which is what we have. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to do 4, 5, 6. Okay, so, and they sort of extend out beyond. So the next feather comes out here, just slightly beyond. And you have a spread of maybe less than 1/8 of an inch. So we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come down. And this is going to piggyback off of the other one. So this is coming up and tying into that one. And then one more. And they sort of pull back. If you see how they're coming back, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I think there's a 7 in there. Excuse me. There's a 7. So there's one more. Right here. And that pulls in right there. Okay. So that is that grouping right in there. Okay. And let me just clean this one up. There and there. Now, from here, I'm going to take you to, actually, this feather here got a little too low, I think. I'm going to bring it up a little higher. Should come off right about here. Yeah, the drawing shows it, well, it's not quite there, but it's right here. It comes right off of this one, and like that, okay? Now, from here, I'm going to give you measurements off of what would be the profile. When we look in profile, I'm going to give you a measurement. And what I mean by profile, when your tail, you look at it and it's flat on both sides and not tilted this way or that way, that's in profile. Then when I give you a dimension from the belly in, you'd have a pretty good shot at getting what we need. So if I come in here and I give you 3/16 in from the belly, that would mean like from here yeah, 3/16 is right here. So what I'm saying is from this outside edge to this point in profile, it's 3/16. Let's see if I did it right. Yeah, pretty close. Now, I'm going to come down from that point about, we'll say a 1/2 inch to right here. So that means a 1/2 inch down this way. I put a dot. Oop. Didn't mean to do that, but we'll say from there. And if I check this out from the belly in, it's just a hair more than 1/4 of an inch. So we have that 1/2 inch right there. And I'm shooting up from the outside a little more than 1/4 of an inch, which I'm pretty close. is right there. So I got a dot there, I got a dot there. And then, before, what I'm trying to do is establish this wing, but I'm going to show you how we also want to make sure that we're in the right position for it. Now, we have, from here, you see there's an offset, and that's this grouping here. We're looking down from the top. So we did the 1, 2, 3, then these come off down here, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is direction here, but they're all set. You can see this is here, and then these go out on the skew. So you're still going similar direction, but you're starting here. This is the first feather right here. Okay, and I'm going to draw that one in just below this cut in here, and I'm going to say that one is about a little bit better than 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to say it's about like this, and it comes around and it shoots out this way. See, this comes down this way, and then this goes out this way. So that's the first one. Now, like I said, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the second one is coming right off of that one. So right off of this line. I'm going to make another one, but it's in tight, and this goes a little wider and pulls in, and that's 2. Then I'm going to do another one at the same spacing, all in the same run line of action here, and that is going to come in, and it gets a little wider each time. See, each one is smaller back here but wider up here. So I'm going to take this one out a little bit wider, join this up, okay, and let me count again. I'm losing my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. So we got 3. We're halfway there. Now I'm going to get another one right off of that one. That's going to make it 4. I got a little wider here. Then it pulls in. And that's 4. Okay. Then I'm going to do another one right here, and I'm going to shoot that one down. To here. Okay. Then the last one is going to just come off of this C here and swing in. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So all the measurements I was giving you over here, where this is off of that, the point would have been here and then up here, and I'm going to keep this line of action as my real one. So it's from here, this goes under that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 6 altogether, but the last one doesn't extend out to the end here. It tucks in right there. and we're going to do that. Now, there is a group of these coverts that are in here. I believe they're coverts, they're called. And they come in right about here. And it's going to be like on the last two. So I'm going to just erase the second to the last feather and stop it short. Now, here's this fourth feather coming up here. And I'm going to come in here. That'll be these. And I'm going to take this and pull that in. That's one. Then I'm going to do two. That's going to piggyback off of that. And come around. And then three will be right on the last feather. And we will take that one and piggyback that and go right out to that edge. Okay? Let me clean this up here a little bit. So you have this and this and this at the end. So that is the grouping that we're trying to get on this bird. You have the three coming down, and then you have this small grouping right in here that comes off of this one. Wait a minute, I'll take that back. It's this one right here. It's this grouping. This is one. This is the grouping coming down, and that's these right here. So you got all of these coming down, but not these. And then you have these, which is 1, 2, 3, and then it goes, these piggyback off and they get a little longer on the first one than these. That's 3, and then these tuck in and piggyback off of them. That's 4, 5, 6. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Cheating here. Need to get one more in here. Just like that. That's 7. So we have 7 all totals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Learn how to count here. And then you got these. Notice these are in one direction coming out. And then you have these down here that are sort of parallel in this, but you're in slightly and you're piggybacking off of those. So what I'm going to show you just on this video is this portion right here. Now, if I have a view on the other side, I would say you could give it a try, but keep it light and see if you can't duplicate this on this side. But I'm going to do this on the next video. I just don't want to make this so lengthy that we'll be here all day trying to do this. I'm trying to get all the markings over onto here. Okay, exactly the way we did it. You're doing a mirror image from one side to the other. And for those who have my pattern, this is the other side, what it looks like. This is this side, and this is this side. That's why I gave it to you in this way. So give it a shot, but keep it light in case we have to erase some out. And you're trying to duplicate this onto this side. And I will do it on the next video just to show you how everything goes together. So hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, like I said, give me a thumbs up. And if you can also, if you have a friend that may be interested, and if you could put them onto my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. And it helps me along my count. And if anybody wants to do any of these, definitely write to me through my email address. And I have kits for this bird, or a whole slew of them that I've done on YouTube. And as I go on, we'll probably do a lot more. I think I added probably about 40 new kits onto my, what's the name? Catalog. So if anybody is wanting a current catalog with all the kits I have available, please write to me and I will get that out to you. So hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next video, and keep carving.